This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Welcome back to the Graveyard Club podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I want to shout out the Digital Edition Network. We're now a part of this network with many other podcasts. One of them that I've been listening to recently is called Spoil My Movie, and they talk about films, but they also talk about like movie trailers as well. So check them out. But yeah, so it's episode 4, and really want to talk about this film for a while. So it's Basket Case from 1982. Now, if you don't know anything about this film,
which you probably won't,
it's a very low budget film from the 80s by director Frank Henenlotter. Hope I didn't butcher that name.
Probably did.
But I've known about this film since about like 12 or 13, and I've showed you about a couple of years ago. Now, most people that watch it look at this film and think, what the...
It's absolute trash.
Like, it's trash, but it's good trash.
It's kind of a cult classic now, isn't it? Would you say that?
Easy it is. Yeah, it is.
It fits the mold for the cult classics. But anyways, enough of your life story. It's so yeah, Basket Case, 1982. There's only really two main, there is a lot of characters that we keep seeing in it, but the main two, well, probably 3 characters would be the main fella, so Dwayne Bradley.
He's played by Kevin Van Henderwyk.
Right, you're just butchering the name.
No, I think I said that right. And his brother, Beloyle. We'll get into that.
Which is a piece of plastic, really, but he's kind of the main character as well.
He's also the star of the show.
He's the star of the show, it's all about him. And then we have Dwayne's little love interest, Terry Susan Smith,
who plays Sharon.
Sharon. So these are the plot kind of revolves around these 3 main people, which is handy for us because it's not a big list.
Yeah, we don't have to remember a lot of actors' names. Yeah.
But sorry, I don't even know what to say about this. I'm gonna let you take the run here because you love this film.
Yeah.
Me.
I feel for the 80s and like knowing how low the budget was for the film, they pulled it out of the bag.
No, they
for
did.
Such a silly plot as well. Like it revolves around 2 brothers, but they were attached at the hip, pretty much. A couple of years ago, physically, proper physically, like Dwayne.
Oh, sorry, the cats are quiet. Bear with. Anywho, sorry about that. Little interruption there from the cats. Excuse me.
But yeah, so they're basically 2 brothers, but they were joined at the hip years ago. But
no, not joined at the hip. They were conjoined.
Conjoined, yeah, but they were like, yeah, but what I
but
mean
joined at the hip is like a slang. They were conjoined twins, except that did we say his name? Belisle.
Belisle, yeah.
We did. Okay, grand. Except Belisle is like a lump of flesh. He's not an actual formed.
Yeah, which is basically like a prosthetic puppet.
Oh yeah, it's like a piece of plastic,
and has some serious anger issues. But so the plot literally starts with Dwayne and his brother Belisle, but Belisle is kept in a basket, so nobody knows about what's in the basket really. So Dwayne, I don't know how he does it, but he has tons of cash in his pocket.
Where did he get the cash from?
We don't know. Yeah, so he goes to a hotel in New York City, Hotel Bronson, and Brosly, and the hotel is pure dingy and creepy. Even the people. This is what I love about the film. Like, it's the characters in the film that we see throughout it. Like even the doctors are a bit weird. The people in the hotel.
Everybody is so weird. Every single character in this movie is so weird, and you're just thinking there's not one normal person in this. But I kind of get a 70s nearly vibe off it. It looks like really older.
It does, yeah.
It looks a little bit older than the 80s. But
So he basically Dwayne pays for a room and he whips out a load of cash and like people behind the desk and people around are looking at him like who the fuck is this fella?
yeah,
So,
but like the people at the desk are like they look like homeless people. So.
They do, yeah. It's a very dingy fucking hotel.
Yeah.
But so we basically
we're slowly like introduced her to the plot. So obviously we don't know what's in the basket straight away. I'm just thinking, is it all his belongings? Like, and everybody keeps saying what's in the basket, and he's just like,
that's definitely like a saying that
it's a recurring theme here. I think we heard that about 100 times. But anyways, as the kind of first few minutes roll in, we see that Dwayne is like reading a list of all these. Well, there's only kind of 3 doctors. And he's reading about this procedure, but what we don't know is it's a procedure about him being separated from Belial when I don't know what age he was, but he was kind of a kid.
They were kids or teenagers at the time, so like basically the plan is to get revenge on the doctors and the surgeons that separate them.
But I think it's Belial's plan. So I think we're first introduced to Belial in the first few minutes, and he cracks open that basket, and holy mother of Lord.
Not a pretty sight.
It's like, I don't know.
And like he screams throughout the whole film, like Belial, like it, like he's
he doesn't talk at all.
He doesn't talk.
Well, he talks telepathically too, Dwayne.
Yeah, do you have some sort of like special like brother power that like they can? I don't know, but like they can. Yeah, they can basically talk to each other through their heads.
So, what they do is there's 3 doctors who perform the surgery, and obviously Belial is not happy about it, and for some weird reason Dwayne is like also not happy about it, even though he's normal now. But anyways. So their plan is to go and get revenge on each of the surgeons. So the first surgeon they go and see is Dr. Needleman. And very funny. Needleman. Sorry.
Very silly name.
I'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they rock up to his surgery and it's like so dingy as well. Like everything in the film, every single thing is dingy. Like the background, the walls have cracks in it and all that type of shit.
Like how like that hotel, like how did anyone pay money to go to that? Like I suppose there's places like that in New York City. New York City is right, but it looks like a place that like is homeless people have gone to.
It kind of looks like. Do you remember that? I'm going off topic here, but do you remember that thing I made you watch, the Cecil Hotel, and it was about that?
Yes, yeah.
And then the Night Stalker, that murderer was there as well. It reminds me of something like the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah, done.
But yeah, so they go to Dr. Needleman and then he's talking, I don't know, he's always real cryptic, Dwayne is. I never get what he's saying.
Yeah.
So he is talking about, I had separation and blah blah blah. Obviously Dr. Needleman cops on and he
realises that was the 2 people that he separated all them years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So basically Dwayne and Belial are back to get revenge. So you can tell what happens next. He leaves the basket out.
Dr. Needleman is no more.
And Dr. Needleman goes.
Needleman. So this is when we meet the lover. It's the receptionist at the Dr. Needleman's office, Sharon. And she's very keen. I'm just going to put it out there.
I like her in it. I think she's good.
Oh no, I think she's good, but
she's played by Terry Suzanne Smith. Yeah. I think that's actually the only role she's ever had in any film. I remember one of the times I actually looked her up to see is she in any other films. Like she's not in any film. This is the only one. Yeah. I think there's a few characters in this film.
Well, I'm not surprised. Let's be real.
Yeah, true.
Because like many other films, it never really got popular until about 20 years later.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
but it was popular enough to spawn 2 sequels 10 years later.
Yeah. So about 10, 15 years later, like. But them sequels were worse. We won't even talk about them at the moment.
They're not worth talking about. We're talking about this is a classic here.
Okay.
Right?
So, yes, Sharon is very keen. A bit too keen. And she's basically asking Dwayne out for a little rendezvous.
Yeah, it was his first time in New York City, so she's basically saying, do you want to go out and see the sights?
Like, I'll bring you to see the sights. Yeah, so we all know what's happening there. And then she gives him her phone number. So then after this, which is a very random part, Dwayne goes into a cinema and falls asleep, like just passes out asleep, and then some random person in the cinema
rips the basket
from the seat, and I think he goes to the bathroom.
Can't have anything anymore.
Well, then he gets mauled.
Yeah.
So we're on body count 2 now at this stage. Yeah. Belial's absolutely wrecking the place.
Let him rip.
So then I think Sharon obviously Mrs. Forward gives him a shout and they go out for a little date, sightseeing, and at the end of the date they start having a little smooch, which is grand, but for some strange reason Belial
Doesn't like
with
that.
his telepathic, now they're not even anywhere close, but his telepathic
Basically,
powers knows he's having a kiss, I don't know how, and he just goes ape shit. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything.
I think that was the problem with Dwayne and Belial throughout the film. Like, I think
Oh, we never wanted him to have like a little relationship.
no.
It's just that whole dynamic is so strange, but they don't
Yeah.
even go into it because it's such
Yeah.
a trash ass movie that there's no character
Development really
development
in it, like,
or
follows,
background or
Yeah.
explanation. But I think it's like stop motion. It looks like stop motion because
There-
the puppet is like going around the room.
There is scenes where most of the scenes with Belial is either with puppets on strings or with hands. But I think there's 2 scenes in the film where we actually see Belial come out with stop motion, and you can see him going around.
I think this is one of the scenes because he's stop motion around
Yeah,
the room. Stop
yeah.
motion. Anyway.
But along with like Sharon, there's other characters in the film. I think there's a prostitute living in the hotel.
But we don't know she's a prostitute. You can't say that.
Yeah,
She's,
but we do
she
see her.
brings a couple of friends.
While Dwayne is walking into the room the first time, she sees his next door neighbour, just her. Casey, I think her name is, and
Yeah.
she's with a fella in a suit. So
In the suit.
So getting Brazzers vibes off her,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know.
But so yeah, Belial is absolutely ransacking this room. Dwayne had bought him a telly to keep him occupied when he was going out for a little.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is a bit low.
But there's a few little
But,
scenes where you can see him looking after him and all that. Like, remember the
Oh
scene?
no, he obviously does look after him. He's actually keeping him in this basket.
Do you remember the scene where he brings back a load of burgers and all that? And he's literally
He's
just
like a little animal, like.
yeah, he is like
But,
he is almost like a dog.
So, anyways, the neighbours, obviously it's very loud. He's trashing the room, and the neighbours all run in. Can I just point out here? I feel like this whole thing about the neighbours trying to get into the room happens about 4 or 5 times in this film.
Yeah, well, like from the get go, the neighbours were suspicious with the basket.
They have no right to be. They're absolute
and like
crazy like themselves. But I know, but they just keep like trying to get into the room or whatever. They don't find out because Belial is stealthy. I don't know how, and slithers back up into the basket. But it's a hotel, so I don't know if they're like. I know Dwayne is like renting it for a few weeks, but I don't know if it's just people
living there or
well, it looks
just
like it's
staying
the
there.
same character, so I'm assuming that it's kind of that type of hotel.
Yeah.
Anyways, he seen him with the wad of cash at the start, and he had his eyes on it since then. You know.
Yeah.
Sticky fingers and all that. So he sneaks into the room after all that. The chaos, robs the money, and he takes the basket as well. Doesn't he take the basket?
No, he doesn't take it, but he takes the money.
He takes the basket.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he does. It's just meant to be your film here.
Yeah, I do remember that part, yeah.
Meant to be your movie here, I'm correcting you. So anyways, they go back in. That neighbour gets killed. Absolutely slaughtered. So this is body number 3 we're on. So Dwayne, Belial is just racking up the body count. So then Dwayne gets that telepathic thing again.
Yeah.
Like, this telepathic thing only works like in weird
situations like when he gets real jelly or something like.
No, I don't know. Like, so Dwayne is out kissing, smooching Sharon, and he has a telepathic thing that Dwayne is trashing around, so he runs back home, blah blah. And he sees the whole room is ransacked, so he decides to go to the pub like any normal person would. But he brings
the Casey.
Like,
but no, remember he goes to the pub with Casey though.
Yeah, he brings the kind of prostitute
to a pub. I think they were just out with each other, and the two of them end up getting drunk or whatever.
He got absolutely hammered.
Yeah. And he actually, this is when he actually started basically telling her what was in the basket.
He spilled his whole.
Yeah.
I was gassed because she was like, "What's in the basket?" And he was like, "My brother."
Yeah.
Like,
and she
off,
like for a while there, she was thinking like he was joking or. But
obviously, I'd be like, "Oh, right, okay."
Yeah, hardly your brother's in the basket. Yeah.
That's when they flashes back to the kind of only backstory we kind of get. I think it flashes back to the whole backstory in this one scene. I think it does. You know, more or less. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think so. We see Dwayne. Well, we don't see it, but Dwayne and Belial are born. The mom died giving birth, and then the father is like absolutely disgusted. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck? You killed my wife," and wants them to be separated, but nobody will separate them. And I think he doesn't really look after them. The aunt, kind of looks after the two of them. And then it looks about I think Dwayne could be about between 8 and 10. Kind of flashes forward, and he still has like Belial is like sucked one, and then the dad eventually finds the three surgeons to separate them, and we see the whole surgery and stuff. It's mad, isn't it?
It's
But,
it's actually weird that the two of them are like upset for being separated, isn't it? Like imagine
this is
having
the whole
like
point of the this is the whole thing though.
Yeah,
Like they
no, I know.
they never wanted to be separated.
I know, but like could you imagine that in reality, like a big lump stuck to
lump
you?
of flesh, like it's not like not normal, but like
It's not like conjoined twins we're talking about here. Like it's a
like
lump
a
of
lump
flesh with a pair of arms and a set of teeth.
yeah,
hanging on to Wayne's
it's
body.
rotten. But the funny thing is, I laughed at this, but I probably shouldn't have. Bilal gets chopped off and literally gets put in a black bag and put in the bin.
Yeah,
No funeral.
disposed.
That doesn't fly with Dwayne.
Yeah.
He wakes up after the surgery and is like, nah, picking my brother out that bin.
And straight into a basket.
Straight into the basket.
Yeah.
Upgrade. Then they plot somehow and kill the dad. But it's like he gets like chopped down the middle.
Yeah.
Like a big saw. Like.
So that is basically the premise of the film. They get the revenge on all the doctors that
Everybody who wronged them.
everyone that wronged them.
Yeah.
They actually say that in the film.
I think they do, yeah.
So, but it leads into that and it goes away from that, and then it kind of leans into more with Belial and Dwayne. Belial being jealous of Dwayne with this new love interest, Sharon, and it basically that's what happens towards the end of the film. He gets that jealous where like Dwayne is actually almost about to do the business with Sharon. And Belial basically tells him to come home. I don't like this, like.
Well, I think obviously this is probably looking way too much into this fucking trashy movie, but Belial is obviously jealous that Dwayne is a fully formed person and he's just a blob. So I think that's where it all stems down to, and he doesn't want him to have any sort of life. The only thing he's interested in is getting revenge. And then I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a different ending and they got revenge on everybody and then Belial just killed Dwayne.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, but anyways. So they come back from the pub. The Casey, the neighbour, is like, alright, he's fucking locked, like, let's just put him to bed and go, like, goes about her business. But Belial, for some unbeknownst reason, takes it upon himself to sneak into her room and then starts, like, cuddling her in the bed. Remember that part?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't do anything else, I don't think. I think he feels her boob or something. I don't know. But she wakes up screaming, and then another scene of everybody rushing into the room and blah blah blah. Like, I'd hate to live in that place. Constant shit going on.
Yeah. Oh, it's not really the best spot to be living in. Like that.
Well, no, absolutely not. Like, but he just sneaks back into the basket then, and I don't think Dwayne is aware of it because he's so passed out. Like, he's literally like gone for 6. Like, and then that wasn't enough for Belial because he is sick. He decides that he doesn't want Dwayne to have any joy in his life. So I don't know how, because we're talking about a piece of flesh here that has no legs, and the most thing he has is like a rack of teeth. Like, but
so we're slowly getting towards this infamous scene that they probably should have left out of the film.
Left this out. That's what I'm trying to say. So he decides to go and find Sharon's apartment, and that was, I don't even know what I can say about that. It was a nasty ass scene that I personally think shouldn't have been put in.
No,
it traumatized me. It
was definitely for the shock value.
Oh, 100%.
I don't like it was a rape scene, but I don't know if that was the cause of death or was she dead before this happened. But basically, he goes to.
No, she wasn't dead because she was awake and screaming, and he was, whatever. And then you look down at, like, the camera pans down to the middle part of her body, and like there's blood everywhere. It's horrific. It's like so weird. Oh, it's just didn't need to be in. It kind of, the whole film I was like, oh, I like the vibe, and then that happened, and I was a bit like.
So why this is going on again when we're talking about the telepathic kind of relationship that you have going on? Dwayne knows what Belial is doing. I
think he's having a dream that he and Sharon are, whatever. But he wakes up then, I think he was so drunk at this stage, he wakes up and realises,
goes over to check the basket and Belial is not there. So
Belial ain't there.
He's on top of your
stop that.
Bitch. But basically he marches straight over to her apartment or her house, and the two of them get into a fight. And there's a great scene. There's a great scene where Belial has Dwayne by his balls, and like it's so silly, but
I
like
know.
he has his hand out, and like Dwayne is up in the air,
Everything
swinging,
is so silly, but
But that fight basically goes to the point where they throw themselves out the window of the hotel and hanging on to their life. You know yourself, and there's people gathering, there's prostitutes looking, and
prostitutes.
there is, there was prostitutes looking, and basically the two of them fall to their death.
Well, we're led to believe that this.
We're led to believe,
which probably should have been, but then somebody, I don't know who, decided to make 2 sequels. But as I said, I'm going to.
The same director made the 2 sequels.
Was it the same director?
Yeah.
Disappointed, I would say. I think I seen like half an hour of the second one, and I said, you know what, turn it off.
It's tough.
Turn it off.
It's tough going.
It's a chore.
Yeah.
I said turn it off.
See, this one has its charm to it because.
Well, it has its charm up until that rape scene, to be honest, which that sent me south. So it was blessed that was near the end, because I was like, I'm giving up now. Get this off. Yeah,
it didn't need to be there.
Absolutely not. It was horrific.
But if we're talking about the 2 sequels, I'll just briefly. They're alive in the sequel, so the ending of this comes a bit redundant because I think at the time the director wanted the 2 of them dead. Like,
well, I mean, it should have been a one and done. Yeah.
Personally, I think it should have been one and done, but they come back for the sequel.
Great.
So, yeah, so basically what you have is an 80s camp kind of classic about 2 brothers, and like it's a fucked up film.
I wouldn't say classic because this is just my criticism, but if you asked about 10 people, have you seen this film? Maybe one might say yeah.
And the person that does say yeah is probably a bit of an oddball. But,
no, not about being an oddball. I just don't think it's a classic. I think it's a culty type, like, I'd call
it a cult classic, but just because like how low the budget was, and then the characters in it, like as we said, Joan Casey, the prostitute in the hotel, Dwayne. Even your one Sharon, do you know what I mean? Like, and all the doctors, like they had that weirdness to them.
Everything was so weird.
Like I don't think you noticed, but when they were shooting the scenes in Casey's room, the prostitute I was talking about, there's smiley faces all over the room. It's just little kind of like personality to the characters that you don't see a lot in other films, especially of that budget.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think the budget was like 16,000.
Yeah. It started out as a 16,000 budget film, and even Dwayne actually had the whole budget money in his hand when we were seeing that at the very start.
Right, that should have kind of set the tone now from the get go. If I hadn't known that start.
Yeah.
But
So lead us into the trivia section, and we'll start like basically that the Hotel Brosnan wasn't actually a real hotel.
No. And
apparently that hotel sign, it says Hotel Brosnan outside it, that was the only prop that was actually made.
Well, Bar Belial.
Bar Belial.
Yeah. I'm not surprised if that hotel would be the Cecil Hotel. Obviously it's not, but like I got such a weird vibe off.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you definitely get them Jeffrey Dahmer kind of vibes off.
Literally, because it's the whole creepy hotel apartment type building with the weird shit going on and the really weird neighbours, everything like that minus the cannibalism.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not much better off here, but
yeah.
But you know what I actually thought was really sad? This made me feel sad. That the fact that the credits at the end of the movie, most of those credits are actually fake because the cast and the crew were so small that they had to make it a bit longer. Isn't that really sad?
Yeah. And even the budget was that low. I think at one stage they actually had to go like dumpster diving for props and things that they could use in the film. Like even see the parts where Dwayne was walking down New York City. Like instead of using a proper camera dolly, I think they were using a wheelchair with a camera.
Do you know what? I'm not surprised there.
There's there's parts of the film where it's filmed in the Statue of Liberty. I've read that he kind of went in there real quick and filmed the scenes and got out before people kicked him out and asked him for payments. Do you know what I mean? Like they literally went in real quick and filmed the scenes with.
Let's be honest, if you're dumpster diving for a movie, you certainly don't have enough money to be buying permits. So.
But this is what the beauty of it is. You know what I mean?
But that tone is evident in the film, I will say.
Yeah.
But another sad point. This movie made me feel a lot of things, but sad was one of them as well. The actress that played Sharon, that you said was never in any other films, she actually had a wig on. Now, once again, for the 80s, early 80s, I didn't notice it was a wig.
I never noticed that until I found out about it.
Because she was completely bald. And I don't know if she had like, you know.
I don't know if it was alopecia or like she was just alopecia or just or the hair.
I'm not making a joke out of it. But
the hair was just shaved at the time, but yeah.
I don't know, that made me sad for some reason. I don't know.
But even down to the puppet of Belial, I think that actually ended up shrinking down over the time of the film's production, and they had to get like kids.
I think they got the producer's 8-year-old
daughter, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I hope to God that they didn't make that child do that and then saying with Sharon.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Because if I'm not even. Yeah. If I know this, I'm gonna have to look this up, because if that is true, I'm not even putting.
Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah, and even like the screams of Belial that we hear, that's actually like that actually comes from.
Do you know director. What? A certain stage of the film, them screams start to piss me off.
Not even. Yeah. Like they could have actually let them screams out and it would have been still a good film.
Well, I mean, they could have done anything else, any other noise, any other like grunt and noise, but it's this ear-piercing screech.
And then remember the heavy breathing.
Oh, the heavy breathing! Oh, it was so weird. Like, it just adds to the whole weirdness of it. The heavy breathing. Wow, it was just sick. But
So honestly, like for a film of like, you know now, like the film started on such a low budget. What would you rate it at all? Like, I know like there's plenty of other 80s films that I might not stack up towards, but there is a charm to it.
No, there is a charm, but I will say this: I wouldn't rate it in a normal film. Like, you know, we're talking films that people would be familiar with. If somebody said, "Oh, rate like The Conjurings," or rate.
Oh, we're talking about absolute.
But if I'm talking to an absolute fellow psychopath here that watches these type of shitty ass movies, I don't know, like it's not in a normal rating thing for me.
No,
it's
like
in a little private tab rating
of its own, really. Yeah, you couldn't really rate it out of 10 because it wouldn't be fair to rate it like the way we've been rating the other films, because we've talked about Suspiria and Rosemary's Baby like classics, like.
But it's not as bad as Terrifier. Like, it's not. I'm just gonna put it out there. I love Terrifier.
Terrifier is great, but I don't know. There's something about this film that I think it has a charm, and I always come back to it. The 2 sequels of it are absolute dirt.
Don't waste your time.
I honestly don't waste your time, and they're actually really bad. And unless you fall in love with the characters or something like that, like it is a continuation of the characters from when they die at the end of this film.
But would you recommend somebody to watch this film?
100%. If you're into horror films,
yeah,
especially 80 horror films, 100%. This is a classic film. Like weird and campy as it is, like it doesn't hold a candle to Halloween or whatever was going on at the time. But the characters in it, like the fact that there was only really 3 main characters, a couple of main characters, the rest were all kind of just in the background.
Yeah, you've been kind of seeing them a couple of times.
It had its charm. I would definitely recommend anyone who hasn't seen this film.
I would as well, but I wouldn't recommend it to the average Joe. So like
the average Joe, wouldn't.
I think they'd come back to me and be like, "Are you?"
Yeah, come on, we've recommended people plenty of films over the time, to Evil Dead and all that, and they've all came back.
Don't get me. Evil Dead is a classic. Don't even go there.
But that would be more of a classic than people know than what this would be.
This is not a classic for me. It's a classic for you. But I would recommend it because I'd actually just like to see their reaction and get a bit of joy.
It is. It's a fun. It's a fun film. It's very easy to follow.
Maybe skip the last 10 minutes though if you don't want to see that scene about.
Skip the rape scene. Definitely. That's all. That's all I see. Like they didn't need to put that in.
No, it really turned the film sour for me. Obviously, any rape scene will turn any film sour.
True. I don't really like
that
shit.
That is not cool at all. But I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe just go and watch the last 10 minutes to watch that scene if you really want to.
There's parts of the film where Belial's eyes light up.
Oh, it's just and the teeth. The teeth make me sick.
But do you remember one of the parts? Like most of the time when you see Belial, he has his teeth out and all that stuff. But there's parts of the film where he just looks like a normal face.
Remember that part?
It's so fucking odd.
Sometimes it looks like it looks like a face.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a big lump of flesh. It reminds me of something off Dr. Pimple Popper. Like he's gonna explode. And
just a lump of he's just a big cyst.
There obviously had to be like if you like crops made of him.
Props. Yeah, I say there was a few
because
puppets,
like you said, sometimes it's like a fucking enormous face
Yeah.
on his blob thing, and then other times it's
so
like
weird. It's so weird.
teeth. I can't even believe we're sitting here talking about this. Literally a lump of flesh, like it's mad.
But
yeah,
if you read that plot, that story
I know,
on
you'd
paper,
never watch it.
You'd never watch it. Like, but for some reason, it came out like pretty decently, and like enough to like spawn 2 sequels after about 10 years. Like just like spoilers ahead about the sequels, just in case you want to watch them.
I don't think they do, but go ahead.
Right, but like they're alive at like I won't go into it, but they're alive and well in the other sequels, like, and they actually join other. They call them freaks. But but they're called freaks, and they kind of they join it, like it gets wacky. It doesn't have the charm of this film.
I watched a half an hour of the second film, and for some strange reason I was getting, for the first few minutes I was like, oh, okay, you know, because I think I said to you, is there any more of those nasty ass rape scenes? And you said no. And it reminded me of, you know, Beetlejuice, you know
Yes,
Beetlejuice.
yeah.
You know that kind of part in the film where they're going into the dead world and they're all sitting in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Is there a part where am I getting this mixed up? Is there a part like that and they're in some like home and they're all deformed and it's all
but they're not dead like in Beetlejuice.
No, they're not dead.
You're right though.
What I'm saying is
they walk into this house and it's ran by some woman, I forget her name really, and every other person in the house has. Now when I talk about deformities,
no, it's not it's like
somebody looks like a rat. Like do you know how Belial like is a lump of skin? Like the sequels actually take it a little bit further, and there's a fella there that has about like 50 noses on his head. Like it's pure city
trash. Like
Belial
is like a bunion.
Yeah, and there's actually a girl Belial in the sequels.
Oh, Dara, no, I don't want to.
And in the third film, guess what happens? I don't need to tell you, but you know what
happens. My god!
Yeah,
to see the Chucky like.
Yeah, to see the Belial. Yeah, that's what they should have. That's what they should have called the third film.
They probably should have, but I don't think they should have made them films at all.
Yeah.
The second and third one.
True. It didn't need to happen.
But I actually do not have anything else to say about this film. I did enjoy it.
No, it's a very simple film.
Oh god, very simple. Like, I mean, somebody had a weird ass dream and then just said, I'm gonna write that.
But for such a simple film, the director Frank Kellenlotter, he actually made like I never seen it, but he has crazy films. One's called like Brain Damage, one's called Frank and Hooker. I think was it this one? I think it was Basket Case. I don't know if it was 1 or 2, and he filmed it side by side with Frank and Hooker. Like he filmed 2 films side by side. But yeah, like I need to dive into more maybe of his films. Like
I think you'll do that solo, because if they're on like Basket Case, I think I'll take a pass. But no, I did enjoy it. Like, enjoy is a strong word, but it definitely captured my attention.
If you take if you rate it on like a camp scale, not the same way as Suspiria or other films we talked about.
10 out of 10 for the camp, because it's just silly. It makes absolutely no sense.
It is.
It's pretty funny. Like.
It's 10 out of 10 camp. There's funny scenes in it. It's cheap.
It's cheap, yeah.
There's fake blood all over the place. It's great. 1982. Brilliant film.
No, it is good. I would recommend watching it up until the last about 10 minutes.
Yeah. And again, me too. I'd recommend watching it, but leave the sequels alone, maybe.
Like, now you know they fall out and don't die at the end.
Yeah, that's the way it should have really ended, but...
Oh yeah, but...
You know the way sequels
is.
Racing. Like the Joker, like, I don't, like, sorry to get off the topic, like, but the Joker did need a sequel. No, a Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. There
is no sequel.
There's a sequel coming out.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, wait, Lady Gaga, not hear about it?
No, I didn't know.
Under a rock. Right, so I think we'll leave it at that.
Please.
Yeah?
yeah.
Done talking about?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Thanks for listening to the 4th episode of the Graveyard Club podcast. Thanks for the Digital Edition Network for having us. And
oh yeah, thanks for taking us on board.
Yes.
Also, I don't know, should we ask for suggestions? Because I feel like the movies that we might be talking about, people are like, what the fuck? So if there is specific ones that somebody wants to listen to,
let us know. So make sure you follow the Spotify, the Graveyard Club podcast, and then the Instagram is the Graveyard Club podcast. but instead of an E on there, it's an A.
Very complicated. It's all in the bio, anyways. Don't worry.
It's all in the bio. We're gonna leave it there. And subscribe to the YouTube channel and like all the videos.
All right, many demands, but yeah, whatever.
Just one little thing. We'll subscribe it anyway. But right, so we'll leave it there. I'm seeing you in the next one.
Bye.
Good luck.